Hey everyone, Chimera45 here, and I apologize for the long delay in videos. It hasn't been because I don't have internet or anything, it's just been a very hectic last few weeks. A lot of things have happened, a lot of stressful things, and I haven't had any time to actually just sit down and do any recordings. So I apologize for that right now, and it's probably going to keep happening for at least another week, but I'm going to try to record a couple of videos today and maybe either upload them all today or bring them like on a flash drive or something and upload them wherever I go. I don't know, but I'm going to try to have a little bit of videos to have so I can upload on a little bit more of a consistent basis because it's been 2 weeks since I updated anything. Alright, so we're going to be covering episode 6 of Dragon Ball Super English dub today. I know it's like 2 weeks late or like a week late or something like that, and I apologize. So let's just get straight into it. So it opens up just like every other episode does with a recap of last week's episode, mostly about how Beerus just flat out destroyed Goku in that fight. And then we get to the title screen, Don't Anger the Destroyer, a heart-pounding birthday party. And I give credit to people who try to do the Japanese titles. Never really sounds that good, but they do their best. So the episode opens up with Goku powering up, trying to get to Earth, and King Kai's like, no, you can't do anything, you can't go back to that party. And Goku's like, why you wanted me to go? He's like, oh, you only want to go because Beerus is there, and you know what'll happen if you go. And Goku's like, yeah, that's true. So Goku goes and tries to relax, but after only a few minutes of relaxing, he starts going crazy from boredom. And King Kai and Gregory and Bubbles are all just like, what is wrong with this guy? So we cut back to Earth, where Bulma's party is in full swing. Everyone's having fun. You know, Goten and Trunks are playing. The women are gossiping. We get a really awkward shot of Krillin stuffing his face with... Yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. We get a pretty cute little moment with Videl and Gohan. They always give them such tender little moments. It's cool. We get Yamcha doing a little bit of training with Piccolo. Roshi being a perv. Everyone seems to be happy and having fun, except, of course, for Prince Vegeta, who is throwing a little hissy fit because he remembers the name Lord Beerus, but he can't exactly put a face to the name. And just the mere thought of him is making Vegeta tremble in fear. And that's something Vegeta is not known for. So all of a sudden, Whis and Beerus show up, and they just can move so quickly that Vegeta can't even see them. And as King Kai said, Goku, Vegeta, all the mortals can't sense the presence of deities. So Vegeta has no idea that he's there. So we get a few creepy scenes. Well, they're not creepy, but they're like tense scenes of Beerus just like floating behind Vegeta, keeping out of sight, just like a cat would with its prey. And we even get him sneaking up right behind Vegeta and then just scaring him, which is pretty funny seeing Vegeta just jump in the air like that. So Vegeta's like, who the hell are you guys? And Beerus is like, why bother telling you when you're about to be dead? So Vegeta tries to charge him, but he gets frozen in place by just one little look from Beerus. When he's on the ground, he looks up into Beerus's eyes and he gets a flashback of when he was a child, of Beerus berating his father and torturing him more or less, not to death, just, beating him up because King Vegeta didn't give Beerus the most comfortable pillow in the universe. King Vegeta kept it for himself, and Beerus took major offense to that. So he was just beating up King Vegeta to teach him his place, more or less. And then little Vegeta tried to step in, and Beerus again just gave him a look, and boom, froze him in place. And we get a little shot where it pans out, and we see both Saiyan King and Prince laid out on the floor, without the Destroyer God even using like 0.1% of his power. It's kind of funny. So then Vegeta remembers who Beerus is, and gets even more freaked out. And Beerus leans down to talk with Vegeta and asks him, so what do you know about a Super Saiyan God? And Vegeta just doesn't have any answers for him. So this starts to make Beerus angry, but then Bulma comes out of nowhere, thankfully, actually. And she sees Vegeta on the ground, and she's like, please tell me you're not doing push-ups. I thought that was hilarious. Before she can realize that Vegeta's paralyzed, Beerus like releases him from his spell, and when she tries to ask him if he's okay, Vegeta yells at her, telling her it's not safe. But that kind of makes Beerus angry, so Whis goes ahead and introduces himself and Beerus to Bulma, and Bulma introduces herself to them as Vegeta's wife and the birthday girl. And Bulma, being the nice woman she is, invites Beerus along to go to the party, Beerus and Whis. And Vegeta's like, oh god, what has this woman done? So we get a funny little shot of where Bulma's introducing Whis and Beerus, Vegeta hiding out in the bushes, and it's a funny little scene. And Beerus gives him this look like, okay, I'll play along, I'll be the happy little guest, but you have to make sure nothing angers me. And Vegeta's thinking to himself that maybe Piccolo or Buu would be the ones most likely to piss Beerus off, so he has to keep an extra eye on them. So then we see Yamcha getting all buddy-buddy with Beerus, like bragging about how he's like one of the strongest martial artists at the party, which is not true at all. Tien, Krillin, Vegeta, Beerus, Whis, they could all beat him pretty easily. Yeah. Anyway, we're not getting into a Yamcha debate. And then he proceeds to smack Beerus on the back, which obviously annoys Beerus. But before anything can happen, Krillin comes into the rescue with these Takoyaki balls, or something like that. I don't know exactly what they're called. It's like a roulette game. One of them's filled with wasabi, and the others are full of like sushi or squid or something like that. So Vegeta's like, no, they're not gonna play. But Beerus just gives him this look and has another funny little line there. And Vegeta's like, okay, yeah, I'll just back off. So Beerus goes to eat one, and when he does, Vegeta's like, okay, the odds of him eating the one with wasabi are pretty slim to none. So I should be okay. Everything should be okay. So Beerus goes ahead and takes a bite, and his initial reaction just makes Vegeta think he got the wasabi one, and Vegeta's mind just breaks. He has a vision of the Earth being destroyed, and I actually think it's a symbolism for Vegeta's mind just snapping right there. He goes into like this whole little world where he's like just contemplating the end of the world, and then just all of a sudden Beerus screams out, "It's great!" causing shockwaves to emanate from the boat. And he goes on to describe how wonderful it is. So Whis tries it, and he loves it, and everyone else loves it. Trunks is actually upset he didn't get the wasabi one. And then Krillin goes to eat one, and of course Krillin gets the wasabi. So that's always funny to see Krillin getting flamethrower abilities and just being his usual goofy self. So then yeah, we get to the Pilaf gang, and they just want the Dragon Balls, and we're just going to skip over them because I don't really like the Pilaf gang. So then we skip over to Trunks and Goten playing with water guns, and Trunks gets the upper hand and just starts to beat the hell out of Trunks with a water gun. And Beerus and Whis are talking about all the Saiyan hybrids, how Trunks and Goten are too young, how Gohan doesn't seem to have a fighting spirit. And Beerus is like, man, maybe this was a whole wasted journey after all. So Vegeta brings them more takoyaki things. So they start eating, but Beerus is like, okay, well, there's no Super Saiyan God here. Maybe I'll just go home and resume my nap. That makes Vegeta think, yes, go away. Come on, just go away. And then they start talking about Goku, and Vegeta's like, well, he's my enemy, but we've made a truce. And Beerus is like, wow, you Saiyans have really grown soft over the years that I've been asleep. And then the worst thing happens. Trunks accidentally blasts Lord Beerus with water. And Vegeta's like, oh shit, what have these kids done? So, Beerus, again, we get a couple of really cool shots of Beerus in this episode. So Whis is asking him, are you angry? Beerus is like, do I look angry? Yes. And he's like, no, I'm furious. So he powers up, flies into the air, and it looks like the Earth is about to be destroyed. And then Vegeta just starts screaming, distracting Beerus from what he's doing, and Vegeta dashes into the ocean, and after a few seconds he erupts with a giant squid, and just tosses the bitch into the air and ki blasts it and just starts. The Prince of All Saiyans starts to cook. Yes, you see the proof right here before your eyes. He starts to cook squid for Lord Beerus, which calms Beerus down enough that he doesn't want to destroy the world anymore because Vegeta is pretty much acting like the court jester for him. And he's like, okay, just wait a few seconds and you'll get your squid. And everyone gathers around the cart, and Bulma's like, oh, you don't know how much you've just helped my party out, Vegeta. And he's like, you have no idea, because this whole world was about to be wiped out. But then Whis and Beerus are talking, and Whis is like, well, if you've had your fill of appetizers, maybe you'd like to try some dessert called pudding. So they go over to a table where the pudding is, and of course it is Mr. Fat Buu eating up all the pudding. So Whis politely asks for some, and Hercule's like, okay, yeah, go ahead, but Buu snatches the plate away. While all the while Beerus is thinking to himself how delicious the pudding looks. But when Buu snatches the plate away, Whis is like, oh, come on, we're from across the galaxy and we're never going to be able to have this again. Buu, in answer to that, licks all of the pudding and claims that he's the strongest there is and he can eat whatever he wants. So, of course, that doesn't sit very well with Beerus. And Vegeta's like, oh, God. It causes him to drop the sushi. And he's like, what has happened? And Hercule, of course, tries to get in the middle, but both Buu and Beerus at the same time just tap the poor dude and he goes flying. So he's KO'd. And everyone's like, what's going on over there? So Buu and Beerus are facing off. Just them looking at each other caused the table to disintegrate. And Vegeta tries to stop Buu by screaming no. He doesn't actually fly in and try to stop Buu, because you think at this point Vegeta is stronger than Buu, maybe, possibly, because he was going toe-to-toe with Kid Buu better than Fat Buu was, in my opinion, but maybe Fat Buu was weak at the time. I'm not entirely sure. But he really can't do anything to stop them, I guess, maybe. So they have a little stare down, Buu and Beerus, and then Buu just starts bashing Beerus in the face repeatedly. But Beerus doesn't even move. And Whis is like, oh boy, here we go. So he's like, I have better eat quickly. So he goes off to order some food. And Buu goes to throw a full-powered punch at Beerus, but Beerus catches it with his hand, and Buu's shocked. He actually opens his eyes. And Beerus proceeds to say how lenient of a god he claims to be, but there's one thing he doesn't enjoy, and that's people who don't pay him his proper respect. And he proceeds to just spin Buu round, and round, causing the poor dude to literally liquefy. Like, all the while, Beerus is just claiming how he just wants the proper respect he's due, and whenever someone disrespects him, he punishes them the only way he knows how, by destroying them. But that doesn't really work with Buu. You can't really destroy him. Well, I mean, maybe, I'm sure Beerus could. He can destroy anything, but he didn't really put any effort into this. He was just trying to teach Buu a lesson. So, needless to say, Buu gets his ass kicked, just like Super Saiyan 3 Goku did. And Vegeta's like, oh man, now that he's all pissed off, this is going to be the end of the world. And yeah, that's pretty much how the episode ends, with Vegeta freaking out. So overall, this was a really, really good episode. I enjoyed this. The animation was really good. A couple of shots looked a little wanky, but what do you expect? No anime or cartoon can be perfect. All the voice acting was still phenomenal. The action that we got was really cool. The humor scenes we got were really funny. I really don't have any negativity to say about this episode. This was a really good episode. We got a lot of really cool shots of Beerus, like, close up. He looked really menacing, and he's just once again proving that he is the most powerful being we have seen in action in Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball Super so far. I say most powerful being we've seen in action. Don't try to misquote me there. So yeah, that's my review of episode 6. It's a little bit longer than usual. I apologize, but I just really liked this episode, so I really wanted to go in detail with it. So, yeah, I'm sorry it's a little bit longer than my normal ones. So, I will see you. It's going to be like maybe an hour or less before I upload the next one because episode 7 is already out. But I will see you all in the next review. Thank you for watching.